When my mom said it, she didn't even try to soften it. You're marrying a security guard. Not a question, just a conclusion. I remember standing in my kitchen, phone pressed between my shoulder and ear, staring at the invitation proofs spread across counter. 68 names. Carefully written. Thought through. "Hey's good to me," I said. She didn't respond to that part. Instead, she exhaled sharply. "You're making this harder than it needs to be." I didn't ask what this was, I already knew. After that call, the tone shifted everywhere. Not loudly, just enough. Messages became shorter. Conversations ended earlier. My brother stopped asking about the wedding altogether. Still, I sent the invitations. All 68, I didn't chase responses. I told myself people were busy, that RSVPs came late, that silence didn't mean absence. But the days passed and nothing came back, no confirmations, no regrets. Just nothing. It's a strange kind of rejection, when no one says no, but no one says yes either. I checked the mailbox more often than I needed to. Each time, I told myself it didn't matter, that the wedding would happen regardless. And it did. The venue was smaller than we originally planned. Not because we downsized, but because it felt unreasonable to fill a space meant for people who weren't coming. Chairs were still arranged in rows. The easel was still set. Everything looked complete, until you noticed what wasn't there. People. I stood at the start of the aisle alone. There was no one to walk me. No one to adjust my dress or whisper something reassuring. Just the quiet of a room that had been prepared for more. I could hear the faint hum of the lights. The soft movement of someone in the back, staff maybe. Then I saw him. He was already there, standing where he was supposed to be. Not nervous in the obvious way. Just steady, present. He didn't look past me like he was searching for who else might come. He just looked at me, so I walked. Not dramatically, not slowly for effect, just forward. Each step felt clear. Not heavy, not light, just deliberate. When I reached him, he nodded once. Like we had both arrived at the same place at the same time. The ceremony was simple, no audience reaction. No layered emotions bouncing around a crowded room. Just words, intentions, a quiet kind of certainty. At some point, I noticed someone near the side hold up a phone. Not in a disruptive way. Just recording. Like people do. I didn't think much of it. Afterward, we signed the papers, spoke briefly to the few staff members and stepped outside. The air felt different. Not celebratory, not empty, just open. My phone was in my bag. I didn't check it right away. It wasn't until we sat down, 2 plates, a small table. The kind of meal that feels more like a pause than a party, that I finally looked. Notifications, dozens at first. Then more, refreshing faster than I could read. Messages from numbers I hadn't saved. Names I hadn't heard from in years. Even people I didn't recognize. I opened one. "Is this you?" Another. I didn't know. Then I found the clip. 10 seconds. It started with me walking down the aisle, empty chairs visible on both sides. The frame steady, quiet. Then it shifted slightly, focusing on him. The caption read, "Her groom is." No dramatic reveal, just his name and underneath it, in smaller text. Something I had never heard him mention unless asked directly. Former military. Disaster response unit. Years spent in places most people only read about. The kind of work that doesn't come with titles people recognize at dinner tables. The video didn't exaggerate anything. It didn't need to. It just showed him. Standing there. Waiting, unbothered by who wasn't present. The comments weren't loud or casual, curious. Respectful, people asking questions. Others answering. A quiet shift in how he, and by extension, we were being seen. I scrolled through a few then stopped. It felt strange. Not overwhelming. Just distant. Like watching something unfold that I wasn't fully part of. Then the call started, my mom first. I watched it ring. Didn't answer. Then my brother. Then others. Messages followed quickly. "Why didn't you tell us?" "We didn't know." "This changes things." I set the phone down. Across from me, he hadn't checked his. He was just eating, occasionally glancing up at me, not asking, not assuming. "They found out," I said finally. He nodded. Like that was expected. I waited for something else, for a reaction maybe. Pride. Frustration, okay. And went back to his meal. That settled something. Not because of what they now knew, but because of what hadn't changed. He was the same person they had dismissed. The same person I had chosen. The difference was only in how visible it had become. I turned it face down. For a moment, I thought about calling back, explaining, letting them step into this new version of the story where things made more sense to them. But I didn't. Instead, I picked up my glass, took a slow sip, and looked at him. Nothing about this moment needed correction. The chairs had been empty. The aisle had been quiet. And still, it had been enough. Not because anyone else finally saw it, but because I already had.